Today we're going to look at drawing angles of lines. Drawing is all about observation and looking at objects as lines and shapes. There are basically two types of lines, a straight line and a curved line. Lines have names depending on their direction. This is a horizontal line, vertical, diagonal, curved, and zigzag. Zigzag is made up basically of horizontal, vertical, and diagonal lines. Here's a coffee cup. Let's see how simple lines and shapes can make up this simple cup. If you look at the top opening, you'll notice that there is a rounded shape. We call that shape an oval, or in the art world we call it an ellipse. If you take a look at the sides of the coffee mug, we see diagonal lines here on both sides. The bottom of the coffee mug is also a curved line, basically half of the oval at the top. Now if we look at the handle, the very top of the handle, there's actually a small horizontal line. The bottom of it is a diagonal line, and it's rounded out with a curved line. The shape in the center, where your hand would go, or your fingers would go, is an oval. Just like that. Drawing observational skills, there are 3 different skills to master. Angles of lines, degrees of curvature, and proportions or size relationships of one object compared to another. This lesson is going to focus mostly on angles of lines. Lines of objects should be checked both vertically and horizontally, and then can be drawn from that point. If you hold your pencil along the edge of one of your objects, it will help you to analyze the line direction, whether it's a true horizontal, vertical, or one of the great variances of diagonal lines. So let's take a look at a small angular object still life. We're going to check the angles, testing against vertical and horizontal lines. You can use the side of your paper to help you gauge a true vertical and horizontal line. So let's start with the biggest shape first. We're going to start with this pyramid. We want to check this and see if it is truly a vertical line or if it is a slight diagonal line. Based on our testing here, we'll see that this is a very slight diagonal line. Again, test the other sides. Notice that all the lines on this particular form are all diagonal lines. Let's move on to the next biggest object, which would be the large cube. If we go from the very center, we'll notice that the center is a true vertical line. The sides might be slight diagonal. The bottoms and the tops are all diagonal lines. Now the smallest rectangle, vertical line, almost vertical line, diagonal, more diagonal, 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 diagonal. Let's do one more. We're going to start with the farthest left pyramid this time, checking the angle on the left hand side, then in the center, then in the back. Notice that they are all diagonal lines that all go in at different angles, different degrees. Now this shape at the very end is a cylinder, and it has some additional lines that we're going to focus more on next week when you come. It still has some diagonal lines, but notice the very end of it is a curved line, another curved line, and ends in a curved line to make a diagonal. Your assignment is this. I want you to get a piece of paper and a pencil. You also need to find 3 square or rectangular objects. For example, a dice, a Kleenex box, or some other type of food box, a Lego, a matchbox, something, etc. Put one form in front of you at a time. Look at the edges of all of the form. Do not move from your position as you draw. Also keep your head at the same eye level. Don't bob your head up and down. Hold your pencil up to one of the edges of your object. Hold it both horizontally and vertically. Observe the angle of the line. Is it horizontal? Is it vertical? Is it a diagonal? Draw the angle that you see. Repeat this process until you have drawn all the edges of your form. Don't add any shading to this. Draw the other 2 angular forms individually. You can draw them on the back of your paper or get another paper if you need to.